Dinna tá an áthar an beliv anocht with my co-author Gealaí, and we're really proud and excited to present Cosán na Gealaí to you all tonight. So today what we're going to cover is the curriculum teanga na bunscoile, Cosán na Gealaí, and how to implement curriculum teanga na bunscoile agus Cosán na Gealaí in your classroom. So Cosán na Gealaí, it meets the requirements of the new primary language curriculum. You can read them there. For example, we focus on learning outcomes. There's a transference of skills across both languages. And what's really special about the program is the rich language experiences that the children are going to really engage in throughout the Cosán na Gealaí program. So there have been changes from the 1999 primary Irish curriculum to the 2015 primary language curriculum. And I suppose one that stands out to us would be the engagement with a wide variety of texts, and exposure to Irish as a language is required in the 2015 primary Irish curriculum. And there's a focus on improving literacy levels in Irish, and as also developing strong oral language skills. And this is what Cosán na Gealaí is all about. So you can see here the 2015 primary language curriculum. Here are the second language learning approaches. So we have the communicative approach, transference of skills. Culture as well plays an important role in the 2015 primary language curriculum. And you'll see that in Cosán na Gealaí. We have, for example, a dedicated culture page in each skills book. It's interwoven throughout the program, so the children really gain an understanding of cultural awareness, their identity. Also, a playful approach was really important to us when we were writing Cosán na Gealaí. We want the children to see Irish as a living language, that they're engaging in a fun, meaningful manner, and that they love it, that they're enjoying it, and that they become passionate about the Irish language and speak it with their friends in class, enjoying it and having fun. So in the classroom with Cosán na Gealaí, it is an interactive, communicative-based approach is what we've used. There are thematic lessons. It's mapped to the primary language curriculum. We have used an integrated approach of the three strands: reading, writing, and oral language. We have target vocab, functional language, and there's a digital library at the heart of the program. Here on the screen, you can see a glance card. So this is a card, for example, that we have in the teacher's resource book, and it's about third class here. So if you look, for example, at September there, you can just glance at it, and before you begin your September Irish program with your class, you'll know exactly what's going on, from the picture book to the phonics, the grammar, what genre is being used. So it's really handy and helpful in your planning. Here we have examples of the Leabhar Scileanna, so the skills book, and this is the core of the program. From the skills book, you're going to be learning your oral language. There's reading activities. You have your target vocabulary and language. The phonics, the sight words, the grammar are integrated into the skills books. There's also plenty of games for the children to learn. We have a culture page. There's also a dedicated outdoor learning page, which is now really important for children, and we've seen the importance of it since COVID as well. And picture books as well are part of the Leabhar Scileanna, so they are the core of the program. Now, what's special about Cosán na Gealaí, we feel, are the readers and the reading in the program. Laoise and I, we love reading. We're very passionate about reading and writing stories ourselves. We've worked with children in the past that might be reluctant readers. Now, these books are going to entice all readers. They are going to love them. We've worked really hard on the content and the language, that it's age appropriate. And the imagery in these readers, you're going to see it in a few minutes. It's beautiful. I haven't seen anything like it in school books before in readers. So we have an inbuilt reading scheme. It's linked thematically to the program. We have pre-readers in junior infants and senior infants, which is really important for promoting a print-rich environment. Then first and second, we have fiction and non-fiction readers. And third to sixth, we have high interest genre readers. And when we were writing these stories, Laoise and I, we would consult with children. So we had little groups with children where we'd be writing our stories, seeing, do the children enjoy them? Is it appropriate, the content and the language? And we used feedback from the children to ensure that we've got this spot on. And well, we love them. Leisha's children adore them. She'll talk to you about their impact as well in a few minutes. So here's an example of the pre-readers I was discussing there. So this is a pre-reader for senior infants. And it is expected that junior and senior infants, that these children are exposed to learning outcomes in reading and writing. So that is what we have done. So we are promoting early reading skills, we're promoting oral language activities, and these can be done through the readers. We are also promoting a print-rich environment, and this all connects with the curriculum. So on this screen here, you'll see the Nasc Baile Scoile. So we've provided a QR code on every reader for the parents and guardians to ensure that maybe they aren't confident in their Gaeilge, maybe they want to learn more. So this QR code gives them access to support materials. For example, they can listen to the story, they can listen to the keywords. We also provide phonetic spelling as well. And the feedback from parents on this from the junior end has been really important to us, and they've really enjoyed it, and it's been so useful for them to ensure that they can engage with their children in regard to their Irish language reading at home. So as I've said, the pre-readers provide exposure and familiarization. They give opportunity to the children to experience and respond to texts. They can be used as read aloud and for oral language activities, and they promote early reading skills in Irish, which is what needed, and what, when you look at the new primary language curriculum, that's what is required. So we've provided that. From junior infants to second class, we also provide chance to select text. So there's a wide range of text for the children to choose from. And for example, you could have your little reading groups and you could put the text in front of the children and they could pick what they're interested in. So there is a wide range of text available for the children. It provides a rich language experiences, and especially from second to sixth class, there's huge repetition throughout from junior until sixth class. They will see the same language repeated again and again. The phonics of the month will be repeated again and again in the readers, throughout the skills books, throughout all the activities that have been planned. The same for the grammar exercise, the grammar theme topic of the month. That is repeated again and again through the readers, through the skills books, through the activities. So the children will be really learning about the grammar and the phonics without even knowing that they're learning. So here is an example of the readers in Cosán na Gealaí. So we have a third class fiction reader here. It's called Sadie agus Mamo sa Ghordaín. And as you can see, they're just so attractive. The content is beautiful. The imagery connects with the content. There is repetition. They're leveled stories. It's an example of genre as well. We love them. Children love them. The children that have reviewed the artwork and the language with us, they've just been really drawn to them. They're special, really special, and we're really proud of them. Here is an example of a non-fiction reader called Oliacht Iontuch for third class as well. And again, they're just very attractive visually. The language is accessible. The children will see language that is repeated again and again. So there's no need, for example, for the spellings as well of the unit are all integrated into the readers. So it's repetition, children learning through reading, children enjoying reading as well. In fifth and sixth class, Leisha will talk with you about this in a few minutes, but we're really placing emphasis on as well on reading for pleasure because it's so important. So I will now hand you over to my co-author Leisha Mila Magov, and I will talk to you again in a few minutes.
Hello everybody, it's great to be with you tonight. Thank you, Moira. So what I'm going to talk to you about is the oral language, first of all, in Cosán na Gealaí. So from junior infants to second class, we have an oral language poster, and that's in the digital library that's provided as well. But along with that, they get the opportunity to go in and out of the poster in co-raw mode or in just reading mode. So I'll play a little bit of that later on for you when we have a look at the digital. But also, in terms of the oral language, there are pre-readers, as Moira said, picture books available, and the skills book. It's not just, you know, the skills book isn't a colouring in book. There's genuine opportunities because of so much recasting of the language around them through song and poems. They genuinely get a chance to use the language themselves orally very quickly. And we had feedback actually from the school only recently where they said for the first time ever, their classes are speaking in Irish and they don't even realise they're speaking in Irish, and they're English speaking schools. So also in place of the poster for the junior level, we have a video for the senior levels with real live children, and they're really entertaining because they're talking about, well, some of them are very comedic, some of them are serious, some of them are like news reading clips as if they're in a studio. So I'll show you some examples of them in a minute, but they're very, like, we were there when they filmed them as well. They're very slowed down, they're very we have accents and dialects from all over the country, but they're very understandable from a children's point of view, and they're very entertaining as well, very, very funny at times. But also the skills book in the later stages then in the senior classes, again, continue to promote the oral language work, the picture books again. It's there's great continuity through the whole programme. I think it helped that a number of us worked on the junior books as well as the senior books, so that continuity remained. So again, as we said, the oral language approach is in line with the new language curriculum, and you know, everybody, you know, coming out of COVID and a new language curriculum and now the new draft curriculum or the new curriculum launch, there's a lot to think about. But Cosán na Gealaí has done all this for you now, that you don't have to worry about it because it's totally in line with the new curriculum, where you have the opportunity, as they demand of us, to give the opportunity to children to listen to a variety of conversations, learn new vocabulary, and just enjoy the language and see it as a living language that it is. So the vocabulary, a lot of what Moira said, I'll repeat though, it is scaffolded and recast all the way through. So again, from working on the junior books and the junior programme, we've recast the language from the junior all the way up to senior. So there's that opportunity for repetition. I don't know, like, you know, sometimes you're pulling from one book and then another scheme, and then you're trying to find maybe 10 spellings for their vocabulary of the week. None of that is necessary with this. It's all available here. So the vocabulary that's used in the unit, say we have, even in the junior end, we have the Gaeilge list for first and second class, and that's their 10 words of the unit. And then in the senior end, it's vocabulary that's also in the picture book or also in the reader and the non-fiction reader. And then there are printables of that vocabulary that you can put up on your wall. You just print it out. So everything is at hand, and it's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of effort, because I know the pressure teachers are under. The genres as well, all the writing genres are included in the programme, which is fantastic because you see it that they have done it in English and now they get to do it in Irish, and it's far more understandable because again we see that transference of skills from their first language into their second language. And the 3rd to 6th class introduces the language genres, and the links then are made with the writing genres. They're taught through the programme in less depth than language 1, but in a way that it's really, I know we use this word empowerment very loosely sometimes, but this will empower the children to use the language, and they're set up for success. So the games, as you know, as we all agree, children love games. So in the junior end, there are a lot of games available, and even in the senior end, there are games and sort of a lot of, there's a thread of inquiry through it as well, where you have to inquire to play the game within the book, and on the digital end as well, there are a lot of games available to them as well. So the phonic agus gramadach an sin, they're the girls who wrote the junior and senior, we all worked very closely together on it, and they specifically used the phonics from the phonics that are known to the children. So they were only using certain letters, certain sounds that were already known in their dominant language. So there's nothing that's going to scare any child or confuse them in terms of, you know, that's totally new to me. It's what they've already done in English, then they do it in Irish. And we try to continue that all the way along. So if they've worked on syllables in English, in general, in and around first class or whatever class it is, say, then we've done it maybe the month after or within the second half of that unit in their Irish language. So it's very much setting them up for success because they've either experienced it or heard it or are familiar with it in their dominant language first. And the phonics and grammar from Rong-a-Hain to Rong-a-Shay, particularly as well from third class to sixth class, it's all there, like in terms of what they need to know. We don't have to look beyond this. We are literally holding your hand all the way through it, from everything they do in their first language. Now they're doing it in their second. So the Culture pages that Moira mentioned, we've actually picked from junior infants to sixth class, we've picked a cultural theme for each year. So for example, fifth class, the cultural theme is the islands of Ireland. So every unit, which is the month, they have an in-depth experience into, for example, the Aran Islands, and then the fiction reader of the same month is a story about a little seal that gets lost and goes from island to island around Ireland. So again, the idea of what they're learning about on their cultural page is also introduced to them in their little fiction story. And then in the non-fiction reader, there's something about islands in the non-fiction reader. So they're hearing and seeing that vocabulary over and over again. And you know, as teachers, repetition is key with this second language learning, and that they'd see it in print then over and over. And the culture really allowed us to do that. There's beautiful work around Loganamnacha. So you see the place names around Ireland, and you see it through their cultural work, but also through their non-fiction reader, their fiction reader, and then their vocab and their spellings of the month. So they see it as a living language around them as well. So Moira mentioned as well the Fáilim Alamwa. So that little motif there of the little footprints on the tree denotes that's an outdoor learning page. Now, obviously, if it is, you know, 10 inches of snow outside and you don't feel like bringing them out, the page will allow itself to be done indoors, but it's there. Because I know with the best of intentions, sometimes we want to go outdoors and, you know, one of those days you're really, really tired and you're up to your eyes with trying to finish something else, or everyone's doing Sigma T's and Micro T's at the moment. This is the last thing on your mind. What am I going to create for outdoor learning? You don't need to worry about it because it's all there. It's all ready, and there's an outdoor learning aspect in every single unit. As well, climate crisis, have to mention it. It was really important to us and to Gaeilge to include sustainability and to ensure that sustainability was very prominent, subtly prominent throughout the whole programme and through the books, because this will, in terms of, you know, future proofing our learning and how we're even trying to introduce these ideas, they're in the books. There's so much integration with your SESE, with your Burla, agus Gaeilge, agus Ilahaid, and just we're thinking down to little things like, if you just see there, even that's a reader from second class, Moorsheen, the compost bin is written there. It's not a recycle bin because it's a turnip being cut up. It's not a paper bin because it's a vegetable waste going in. All of these little details were made on purpose. So the Lara Picture, they're the picture book. So there's a picture book for each unit, and it's specifically matched to the content of that unit. So for example, Mór agus Mulk, that's a little picture book about, you know, there's a person and they're going along and they pick up different people along the way and different items. But then you'll see in the fiction reader, it uses the same little items here and there, just scattered, maybe in the background, but the words are there. And the idea of the same theme of that book is there. So again, we're getting that chance to broaden the linguistic experience, promote the enjoyment, and just repetition, repetition, repetition. And will they understand every word in every one of those picture books? I would very much doubt it, but that's not really what we're aiming for here. We're building an enjoyment. If they understand it, fantastic, but it's not necessary that they understand every single word. We pick up a picture book to children in English. They don't understand every word in junior infants, but we read it anyway. So we're doing that here in Irish as well. Now this is the Leirlin Yidgetach, and it's the digital suite that's available. So I'll just actually press on this here, and I'll show you a few little examples of what's available. This is our promo site. So if you go into digital library here, and anyone can access this, it's cosánnagealaí.ie. It's just to show you what's available. And if I just scroll down, this is the junior infants page. So you can go in and out here. So if you take on the program and the books, this is these are samples of what's available. So I'll just have a look at this little poster. And as I said, there's the Brana function and co-raw. So I'll click on co-raw, for example. And we'll just listen to them for 1 second.
Laoise, I think we haven't got sound on that video.
Oh, sorry, okay.
So you might want to, yeah, that's okay. So
will you just get the idea?
Thanks, Laoise.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So there's the poster, Lara Skillana there. So you can see the Lara Skillana. This is great for the whiteboard. So you can put it up and you'll see all the pages up above. And it's all the way down to the games, printables, and your planning sheets, of course. And all the planning is done, which is amazing. So when it comes to the Contas Mísúil, you can just say tick, tick, tick. So this is wrong. Sorry, I'll go into actually wrong at Cahir just to show you the difference. Instead of the post there, Martin, you have the video. So I know you can't hear the video, but I'll just for 1 second show you what I mean. So there are real live children in the library, and they're actually looking at the picture books that are within the collection. So everything is recast again and again and again. And you can hear them speaking in various Conúntaí from around the country. There's an example of the planning book as well. And the beauty of the planning book is that there are scripts for you as a teacher in English and Irish. So bilingual scripts of, right, if I pick up this picture book, friends of mine trained in England, they came back, the Irish was rusty. Any of us, even if we're in learning support maybe, and we've to focus on English literacy, we might be rusty. So you pick up this planning book, there's a script there for you in Irish of how to do the lesson plan around a picture book, or how to introduce the fiction reader, or how to play the game, things like that. So it's really, really useful. There's the printables and vocab, etc., etc. Okay, so I'll just go back into the webinar now. Sorry. Sorry, sorry, this is hopping on me. I'm back to planning. Can everybody see that there, Anita? Yep.
Yeah, that's good, Laoise, thanks.
Sorry. So these are the planning books I just talked about there. It's dual language, both English and Irish. Sample lesson plans in it, planning map to the PLC, and you have yearly, monthly and fortnightly planning available with all the learning outcomes as well. And I know even a friend of mine there had a whole school inspection and whole school evaluation, and the important aspect of it was to address the outcomes. Were the outcomes being addressed? So you have the outcomes here, and you know exactly which learning outcomes you're focusing on, and it's done for you. So the lesson plans and planning are all there. They're in informal Irish as well, and even suggested language for you as a teacher, suggested child responses. I know we try and endeavour to teach Irish through Irish, but often we don't actually, the children don't answer us in Irish. So it's there for you to give them the answers of what you expect from them as well. So you're very, very supported all the way along. So there's an example of a yearly overview, and it tells you exactly what we would do in, say, Unit 1 in September, etc., into Unit 2. There's a month at a glance, and there are the fortnightly plans, which can double up then as your Contas Mísúil sheets. So what we've done as well is, and obviously every class is very different, so it depends on what you want to do, but as a sample for you, in the teacher resource book, there is a 4-week plan of what you can do in week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. And it tells you, okay, because there's so much on offer here and there's so much to cover. it's sort of like, okay, where do I start? And it'll tell you what you could start with. If we were doing it, this is what we would start with. So Gaeilge there on Deiluan, and then culture, and so on and so forth. But again, you decide for your own class which way you want to go. It depends on where they are with their Irish. Aishther as well, it was really strong in our junior infants to second class books and on our resources. But we've continued that play-based pedagogy all the way along. So there are Aishther resources all available through and printables and so on up to second class, but that play-based element hasn't been lost, and it has stayed there as much as the sustainability element and the Fáilim Alumwa and the reading for pleasure. So there's an example of the printables, and they're available for every unit. Again, you know, when you're trying to find spellings or vocab for the month, and you're even trying to find poems for the month, you don't have to look for anything. It's all available in the digital library and in the books as well. Everything's in one place, which I know, you know, as teachers, time, it always comes down to time and trying to find what you need. So the Masu knew there's fortnightly and termly assessments linked to progression steps and learning outcomes. And there are checklists as well. So we have checklists all available around the vocabulary. We even have, in the senior end, we have a set of Gaeilge Neamhar Mule, and just to emphasise that communicative approach for self-assessment checklists. So basically the children have them at the back of the book, and they go through and they see, what did I use that today? And they can even self-assess and peer assess, and they tick and tick and tick the ones that they know with you. And if you hear them using them around the room, you say, oh, don't forget to tick your self-assessment sheet there. So why, now this slide is wrong because it should say, why not Cosán na Gealaí? Because it's the only programme available written for the actual PLC and in alignment with the PLC, that's all in one place, and it makes it just so much easier for you. It's time friendly for you as well. It holds your hand. It's proven because of the feedback we have so far, even to improve Irish literacy levels for ourselves as teachers as well. We all get rusty if we don't use it, we lose it. But it's all there for you and for the children. And it's got fully blended print and digital program there that it allows just for that authentic learning experience and a communicative experience, not just, I know, like teacher, I think you feel a lot of pressure as a teacher to talk in Irish, and I'm teaching Irish through Irish and I'm trying to encourage them, and you're not getting anything back. This program will ensure that they are giving it back and they're able to communicate themselves with you, and you'll hear them, and even as the feedback has told us, they are hearing it around the school and together as almost a learning community together, which I just think is beautiful. It's really, really exciting. Both are standalone programs. So some of you may be familiar with Over the Moon, so the English language program. This is Cosán na Gealaí. It is, I suppose, the partner program to Over the Moon, but they are standalone. So if you don't have Over the Moon in your school, you still can take on the Cosán na Gealaí books, and vice versa. But if you do have the two, they are so strongly linked and thematically linked that idea of transference of skills, what they've done in their Over the Moon unit, they will then do in their Cosán na Gealaí unit. Having said that, it's not a translation. It's absolutely not a translation, because obviously that would be boring for you as a teacher and for the children themselves. So beautifully complementary to each other, but they do stand alone. And thank you so much for listening. Míle buíochas, Anita, and I'll hand it back to you. Thanks, everybody.
Míle buíochas right back, Laoise. Thank you so much to yourself and Moira for a really wonderful presentation. I can attest, I suppose, to a lot of the stuff that Laoise particularly was speaking about, but Moira as well. We were lucky enough to be able to sit in on a couple of classes that were using the programme, you know, a practical teaching class with students who were using the programme. And it was extraordinary. As Laoise said, it was just amazing to see that junior infant children using, you know, the Cúpla Focal, opening their readers, engaging with them. Yeah, I was very emotional watching it, to be perfectly honest, but it was really beautiful to see. And I think that was a good word for you to use, Laoise. So thank you for that, and thank you, Maura. So we've had a lot of questions in. So I'm going to kick straight into them because we don't want to keep people too late this evening. I'll start off with one that's really more for me, and I'll just let you guys catch your breath. So there is a lot in the programme, and a number of people are saying, what do we actually need to buy to get started with the program. So just to say, the skills book really is the key to the program. So by purchasing the skills book for all of your class, in year one, you'll receive all of the free assets that have been mentioned here this evening. So you'll get your teachers planning and resource book, you'll get your full beautiful set of class picture books, your class set of picture books, and you get free access to all of the digital resources. And then after year one, you just need to buy the skills book for your class in the following years. And that then will mean that the digital resources will remain free access to you for the duration of while you're using the program. So really, it's as simple as that. Yeah, that's how that works. So looking through, and I was trying to consolidate some of the questions because there's a lot of repetition in them, but one that came up quite a number of times is around comprehension. Leisha and Moira, really effectively, how does the programme tackle comprehension? So which of you would like to look at that one for us?
I had muted myself. I'll take this because I actually think this is really exciting. I just love it. The comprehension really is everywhere, because the comprehension it's subtle, but at the same time, somebody said to me, well, when you see it, once you see it, actually you can't unsee it. It's everywhere, because it's in, say for example, you have you look at the fiction reader, and then there's a fiction reader page in the skills book that they have to connect with the reader. So they have to answer those questions. So that's the comprehension in itself. But also then they have the same with the poster page. They have the same with the non-fiction reader. Then again, with the videos, they have to listen and watch the videos, and then they answer the questions, and they have to, in the senior end, it's so beautiful, they get to reenact the video in a drama class. So it's an integrated drama Irish. I mean, teaching drama through Irish, like there's so much opportunity here for CLIL even, which emerges even from the comprehensions, because it's more, they understand it more, and then they can move on and do different activities with it. So the comprehension is everywhere. Does that answer your question, Anita?
Very comprehensive. Pardon the pun, very comprehensive. Thank you very much, Leisha. Another two items that came up was the whole question around grammar and phonics. So Aoife, I guess, who's one of our attendees this evening, has just put it simply. So does Cosán Gaeilge adequately cover grammar and phonics, or would we need to supplement them in the classroom?
I'll go with this.
Yeah.
Right, thanks.
Thanks, Anita. You certainly would not need to supplement the grammar and phonics in the classroom. So I suppose a bit like the comprehension, what Leisha said there, with the grammar and phonics, so we pick a particular topic each month, and then that is repeated, not just in the skills book dedicated page, but throughout the readers in the games. For example, if it's the Mo or the Hook for the grammar topic of the month, the children are going to see that again and again and again. There is no need to have any supplemental material. We have it all here for you. And the children are going to learn their grammar and phonics without even knowing they're learning. They're going to be playing their games, doing their oral activities, which are based on the grammar, phonics, spelling. So no, everything is here for you. A bit like the planning, it's all here.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
You can see we had great fun writing this programme. We're best buddies.
So that's brilliant to hear, I'm sure, particularly actually for teachers now facing into this first year of the free books grant that they're getting, that really they will just spend on the programme and they won't have to spend any more of their budget on anything else. Everything is included in the items in the programme that they would need to buy. So that's great news for them.
Down to time as well, Anita, trying to pull things from everywhere. Do you know, you just don't have time.
Yeah, absolutely, Leisha. Yeah, well said. So a number of people are just wondering, somebody, Dan very nicely said he really enjoyed your presentation, and he's wondering if somebody could come out to their school to present to their staff. So just to say, yes, absolutely, our sales team are out and about at the moment, and they are available. They've all been trained in by the author team, so they'll be happy to present to your staff, and will give a very comprehensive and good presentation about the whole programme to your staff. So if you contact your local sales rep to arrange a time and date that suits you, that's the best way to go about it. So you'll get a link to their details in emails that we'll be following up with. But that would you for that one, Dan. Thank you for that question. Another question, so I'm conscious again, even of our beautiful Giffer, 3 prizes we have this evening of all the readers. So somebody is asking, and I know we've had this question quite a bit, the whole question of the readers. They're asking, how do we use the readers with their class? And I don't know which one of you want to tackle that, because I know we've had quite a lot of questions about the pre-readers at junior infants, but then even as they go up, which one of you would like to tackle that one?
Well, the readers, there's so much you can do with the readers, and it'll depend on your class as well. But what we would do is we would discuss the readers. We'd introduce the reader. We'd introduce the new vocab, which is, there's new vocab on the inside cover of each reader for the non-fiction and the fiction readers, and that's your vocab of the month as well. And then that's also with the reader, there are printables for those, the vocab list. So it's everywhere, it's just recast around the room. It's in the readers, it's discussed, and then it's also available on the digital, so you can introduce. And we do like sitting with the actual book, of course, in a circle time and introducing it that way, but you can introduce it on the digital, on the large screen. So you'd read it in groups or in a whole class situation, or read it in small groups, and then you can display your printables relating to that reader. You can also allow the readers to go home. They're actually leveled, but they're very subtly leveled, so they're not color coded, but you'll see it. If you picked up the readers, say from junior infants up to 6, you'll see the repeated language all the way along, and then the level of difficulty is more difficult all the way along. But then sometimes you might see less text in a reader in 6, but it's because it's slightly more complex language in 6. It's not because, like, oh, well, there's more on a 4th class page and there's less on the 6th. The odd time that happens, but it's because it's more complex language. So again, just introducing it as a group and then reading it with them, reading it through, send it home. The QR code is there for the parents or for the guardians. And also then you could also allow them to do paired reading, group reading together, or individual reading. But they can also, if the program as well goes through the school, the more and more they get used to it, you can do paired and buddied reading with the children themselves. And there's a real element of pleasurable reading here for them. It's not a book that's completely unrelated to anything they're doing or experiencing in their lives. So it's pure pleasure as well. So the readers are just little show dini, mar therefore. Yeah,
they really are. I haven't seen anything like these before for children in primary school. They are beautiful, and will make sure that your children really grow and flourish in regard to reading.
Even reluctant readers.
Yeah, and again, we really genuinely have had such amazing feedback on the readers. We really have. And again, if I go back to those classes that we were lucky enough to sit in on, it was just amazing to see the children engaging with them. So if anybody is interested in, taking on the program and purchasing the readers, please do contact your rep, and they'll talk to you about the best way to, to buy for your class, to buy those readers. But they are well worth seeing. So, do contact your rep to take a look at those. And you'll also, of course, get access to ebooks of all the readers, which have the audio, and everything that Alicia would have spoken about. And the pronunciation, I think, is something that's really tackled well throughout the whole program, both in that homeschool link and the QR code, and in various other aspects of the program. So I think we've really tackled that pronunciation for anybody who doesn't have confidence in their Irish, whether it's parent or child or whatever it might be. There's great assistance on that. Another over the moon user here, Moira, no relation, I'm sure, just totally coincidental, but Moira asked, we're already using over the moon, and they're wondering, are there any offers available to the school if we adopt Cosán Gealaí? So the answer to that is yes, absolutely. We have some really exciting offers that are tailored specifically for people who are already using over the moon. So again, if you contact your local rep, they'll be happy to advise you. So I think we might leave it there for this evening. There are a few other questions. I think mostly they're ones that the sales team will be able to follow up on. And as I say, any ones that we didn't get to this evening, your rep will be in touch with you, and you'll also have a link to your rep's details in emails that we will follow up with. So please reach out. They're out and about in schools and are available to you now to, to do presentations, to answer whatever questions you may have. So please do, get in touch with them. So you will get a follow-up email this evening. I think it goes out in about an hour's time, and that will have a link to your local rep's details in there. And then next week you'll get an email from Gill Education with a recording of this evening's webinar, so you can share that with your staff members if other people are interested to find out, you know, more detail about the programme. There'll also be a link to the Cosán na Gealaí website in there, as there is in this evening's email as well, actually, and where you can sample all of the content that particularly Laoise was going through this evening in the presentation. It's a great one. It's very easy to navigate and just look. And you know what? You can actually just try out some of the content with your classes now. You know, what better time as you're kind of coming towards the end of the year just to maybe try out some of the games or some of the content that's there on the promotion site. It might be a nice thing for you to do someday, maybe that Friday when you've nothing, you know, whatever, one of those Fridays, it's coming to the end of the year and you've run just out of steam. You know, it might be a good time to try some of the stuff that's on the site. So please do go in and have a play around with that. And then the final thing is we'll be announcing the winner of the 3 amazing complete sets of readers in that email next week. So keep an eye out for that. So I think that's it for this evening. I again would like to just thank everybody for joining us and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Míle buíochas gach duine.
Long
Thanks, Laoise. Thank you.